I discovered something that completely crushed me, to say the least. What's up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to tell you guys a story about me that impacted my life so much. Some of you may know this about me. I did a live video maybe a year ago about this, but I wanted to share it with my subscribers because I feel like it is a large part of who I am and why I am the way that I am. So if you want to hear about how my 40-year-old roommate put a camera in my room, keep on watching. So, where to begin? This affected me for a long period of time, but it has now been 6 years, and so I feel comfortable sharing it. So this video is not for sympathy, it's not for attention, it's not for anything other than to share with you guys my story. So, in college, I went through a very tough breakup. I took it harder than he did, but he was my first love, my high school sweetheart, and I wasn't ready to let him go. As you guys probably know, I was a party girl. I turned to drugs and alcohol in order to mask the pain that I was feeling on the inside. I also did a lot of bullying. I was not a nice person, and then when people would bully me, I would just retaliate, and overall, it was a horrible situation. It was a horrible place for me to be. So what I did was I decided to pick up and move to Texas, not knowing anyone. I ended up hearing from a girl on my Facebook page. We were acquaintances at the time. We later became friends because we ended up living together, but she contacted me and she just said, "Hey, I saw you're moving to Texas. I'm moving to Texas too. We should live together." So that's what we did. We got an apartment together and it was really fun. So then my stepdad gets me a job through the company that he works for, working as a security officer at a Peterbilt plant. So it was where they build all of the Peterbilt semis. So as soon as I get there, every single guy in the guard shack is probably 60 to 70 plus years old, and I'm just thinking, like, this is not the job for me. But one of the first things that my boss said to me, he said, "Do not associate with," we're gonna call her Kelly just for privacy reasons, "do not associate with Kelly." So of course, when someone tells me not to do something, I'm gonna figure out why. So I meet Kelly and we instantly hit it off. Like soulmates, best friends, so much fun together. She's one of those friends that we just gelled so easily, no matter how far apart we live, no matter how long it's been since we last spoke. Every time that we connect again, we just pick up where we left off. So I meet Kelly, and at this Peterbilt plant we worked third shift. And so throughout our shift, we would have to make rounds around the Peterbilt plant just to make sure there were no safety hazards or security violations or anything like that. So we're making our rounds, and Kelly tells me about this group of guys that work in the Peterbilt plant third shift. She told me that she normally would go back and just kind of chat with them while they were working because third shift can get really boring. There's nothing to do. So we go back there, we're talking to them, we're having a good time. Long story short, we end up hanging out with them. So we hung out with this group of probably 3 or 4 guys every weekend for about 6 months. And I'm just gonna say his name because I don't feel like he deserves the respect of not being named. So I meet these guys, we're hanging out every weekend, we are drinking, we're going back roading, like doing all of these Texas things and having a blast. Like, it was honestly probably some of the happiest times in my life. I just felt so free and clean of everything that had happened in college, and I just had a whole new group of people that loved me and respected me and cherished me. I was nothing more than friends with all of these guys. However, At one point, I had expressed interest in the guy that was 30 years old. So eventually, my roommate had to leave. She was going to school somewhere else and she wasn't able to stay in the apartment. So instead of paying for this apartment by myself, Paul offered me a place to stay. He said, this is going to be a totally separate end of the house. You'll have your own bathroom, you'll have your own bedroom, and it's totally separate from where I'm at, so you'd have your own space. He was offering it very cheap, and so I told him, yes, I'll move in until I can get on my feet. So while I'm looking for another roommate or a cheaper place, I'll go ahead and stay with you and we'll go from there. So I move in with him. Everything's normal. We are hanging out with everyone just like we used to. We actually became very good friends to the point of him being like my gay best friend, kind of. And that's not anything negative against gay people, but like, I feel like gay guys are the best friends. And so Paul was like my gay best friend. I went to family functions with him. My family came and visited him. He was a part of our family because he accepted me into their family. My parents trusted him. All of our friends trusted him. No one ever thought anything other than we were roommates. Nothing went any further than just roommates. Until one night, I was laying on the couch on my stomach watching TV. He came up and stood next to me and he started massaging my shoulders and my back. And I sat up and I said, no, stop. And he said, what, you don't like it? And I said, no. And I went to my room, called my friend, left that night, went and stayed with a friend that night, and that was that. I thought, okay, it was a little awkward, but at least now he knows that I'm not interested. I didn't know that that's the way he was feeling, and I frantically started searching for somewhere to live. A couple months down the road, I discovered something that completely crushed me, to say the least. So I get home from work one morning around 6 o'clock in the morning and I'm getting ready to go to bed. And I'm laying in my bed. It's still fairly dark out, but the sun was coming up. I noticed this light on my ceiling. This light on my ceiling was like a pulsating light. And I was like, what is that? Because the light looked like it was coming from my closet, but I knew that I didn't have any electronics in my closet. And so my first thought was like, someone's recording me. And I didn't want to believe it. So I rolled over and I said, I'm just going to go to sleep because if I see that, I'm not going to be able to sleep. Sorry, my camera died. So I rolled over, I was like, I'm just gonna go to sleep and hope and pray that he would never ever do anything like this. I kept telling myself, he's friends with my family, like we have all the same friends, like if he did do this, all of our friendships are gonna be broken apart and our weekends aren't gonna be fun anymore. Like I moved here to get away from all this. There's no way that this is happening. I'm just gonna go to sleep and I'll feel better when I wake up. So I roll over and I toss and turn for like an hour. I cannot go to sleep. I could not stop thinking about this light that was coming from my closet. So I say, you know what? I'm just going to go look and see what it is. So I get a laundry basket. I flip it over. That's the only thing I had to step on, and I was thinking, if this is what I think it is, I'm not gonna take myself to the kitchen, which was by his room, to get a chair to come in and look at it, okay? So I stand on the laundry basket and I put my hand in the top of the closet to pull down this light, and I looked directly into a pinhole size camera. So still, I didn't want to believe it, but instantly I panicked. I fell off of the laundry basket. I grabbed my keys and I ran out of the house with my cell phone, and that's it. I didn't have shoes, I had nothing. I ran out of the house and I called my friend. This was a friend that had been hanging out with us as a group, and I had expressed interest in him from very early on in our friend group. And although Paul seemed very supportive of my feelings toward this person, he was feeling otherwise on the inside. So I call my friend and I'm sobbing, and he can hardly make out what I'm saying, but I somehow make out he put a camera in my room. And he said, "No, there's no way he put a camera in your room, Jessica. It's probably not what you thought it was. Try not to freak out. I'm gonna call him and see what's going on." So he calls him, and he's denying it for probably about 20 minutes, and then he just starts crying and tells him that he indeed had a live feed going in my room. And at this point, we didn't know for how long it had been in my room, but he had a live feed recording my every move. And he told this friend that the reason that he put it in my room was because it kept him from doing the other things he wanted to do to me. Which, I don't know if you guys feel like that was him saying that he wanted to violate me physically, but that's how I took it. And as much as the camera thing violated me, I'm incredibly thankful that things didn't go any further. After that, I was shaking so bad that I just went to a random parking lot and I parked my car. My friend Kelly, who had originally introduced me to all these guys, she came to pick me up because I physically felt unable to walk. And that may sound dramatic, but unless you've ever been in a situation like this, you truly don't understand how violating it is knowing that someone was watching your every move without your knowledge. So my friend Kelly picks me up. She takes me to my mom's house. We decide that we're gonna go to the cops and tell them what happened. I'm like getting chills talking about this now. We go to the cops, they question me, I tell them everything. They bring in the guy who Paul confessed to and question him. They have a confession from Paul. So then they tell us that because this was Paul's house and they couldn't prove anything, they couldn't get a search warrant to see what was on the footage or anything like that. So they said that if we still had access to get into the house, that they would recommend us going in there. Just took a drink of water and it's like dripping down my chin. They would recommend us to go in there and gather anything that we can find that would be proof that he had this camera in my room and that there is footage on there without my knowledge. So my parents arranged for me to go pick up my things. So I was going there to get clothes and stuff like that, and I told them I did not want him there. If I saw him, I would have a mental breakdown. So we go to his house to get my things, but to also search for any evidence that this was a camera. So we start searching everywhere. We start in my bedroom, and the camera that I had pulled down from the closet was gone. Everything that was holding the camera up was also gone. So he was hiding something. We continue searching. My mom thinks to go look in the garbage. So we go to the garbage. There's nothing in the inside garbage. So we go outside to the big garbage and we find an entire computer. Not the computer screen and the keyboard, but all of the insides of a computer. So all the circuit boards, the buttons, the wires, I don't know all of the technical names for this, but it was the inside of a computer in a bag, inside of another bag, inside of another bag, completely destroyed. Broken with a hammer, twisted, turned, everything ruined. So we found that. We continue searching. We go to his bedroom where his computer, I thought his only computer was, and we start searching through the pictures and the videos and everything else on his computer. So we're searching through his computer and we find videos of other women who didn't know they were being recorded. We find videos of a recording inside of the bathroom at the restaurant that he owned. We find pictures of naked women, and we take it all back to the cops. So we're bringing back to the cops. Oh, we also found the box that the camera came in and the packing slip. So it said like the date that he had bought it and how much it was and stuff like that. And he had bought it 2 months prior to when I found it. So that's how long he had been recording my every move. So we take this stuff back to the cops and they can't get anything off of the computer. It's too destroyed, which I'm certain that you don't just destroy a computer that's very expensive unless there's something on there that you don't want other people to see. So we take that in, they can't get anything off of the computer, and because we only found the box, they couldn't prove that it was in my room, and the stuff on his computer wasn't proven that he took the videos. So there was absolutely not a thing that the cops could do. If you guys read my Why I Didn't Report It blog, you will know that I have now reported sexual assault and whatever you want to call this, violation of my privacy and my sense of security twice now. And both times, absolutely nothing was done, regardless of confessions from both sides and proof that there were confessions. Nothing happened, which is why I didn't report it in college when it happened, because the cops do nothing about it, which is very, very twisted, might I add. For the next 6 months to a year, I lived with my parents. I slept with my mom for the first couple months because I constantly felt like someone was watching me. I thought that if the blinds were open, someone was peeking through. I thought that I didn't think that there were. I had irrational fears that there were hidden cameras everywhere. I didn't want to get dressed in my own room. I would go to the bathroom not before checking everywhere to make sure there were no cameras in the bathroom. My trust, my sense of security, a lot of things were stripped from me that day. And I don't know if anyone truly understands the extent of what happened or how it affected me, because not many people have been in this kind of situation. It may seem just like, oh, it's just a camera. He didn't do anything to you physically. But the fact that this person was my best friend, my family trusted him, I would hang out with his family. We had an entire friend group together that we hung out all the time because I had no other friends there. I had just moved from a very toxic place in my life to this new place where I was so happy, and then something like this happens. It's like you're on top of the world and someone kicks you down. I felt like everything that day just crumbled. This situation, I feel, almost affected me more than the grade school situation when I was molested. And the reason being because in grade school when that happened, I didn't know the guy, I didn't trust him, I didn't care about him, I didn't feel like this person owed me anything. Sure, he owed me respect just as a human being, but I didn't feel emotionally connected to him on a friend level or anything more than that. But this situation, it felt like my brother had violated me, which to me hurt so much more and ruined so much more about me because of that. So this is my story of how my 40-year-old roommate put a camera in my room and how absolutely ridiculous our justice system is. But that's beside the point. Like I said, it's not for sympathy, it's not for attention. I simply want to share with you guys what makes me who I am and the experiences that I have gone through that have created me into who I am today. So thank you guys for watching. I love doing these videos for you guys. Tell me in the comments what types of videos you guys want to see, and I would be happy to record them. I love doing these. I didn't think I would love this as much as I do, but I'm like having a blast. So like, subscribe, share with your friends, turn on your post notifications so you know when I post so that you can be in on the next video. Thanks guys, bye!